Hi there, Dawn McVey here with this week's Make It Monday. Today we're talking about adding patterns behind a die cut window. The window can be any shape or size you'd like, and the patterns can be anything from stamping to pattern paper, even embossing, or as I'm going to show you today, ink blending. I can't wait to show you a few tips along the way too. Let's get started.
Okay, so to get started, I have got some pieces that I've gone ahead and, for the sake of time, just cut out. I used the Noted Scallops A2 die to cut out this oval. I, of course, will save this piece because I can use that on something else. But this piece of Lilac Grace cardstock is going to serve as the window on my card front. And now I want to have a pattern behind it. I could achieve this a lot of different ways. You could use pattern paper, or you could stick just another layer of colored cardstock behind here that's got some embossing or stamping on it. In this case, I'm going to do my pattern with a stencil and some ink blending directly on my card base. So I'm just going to set that aside for now. And I've got a standard A2 size card front here. And I've gone ahead and scored it so I know where the card front is going to be, so I make sure I get my stencil all lined up in place. And I've got a little washi tape here. I'm just taping it to my work surface, and I'm going to do the same with my stencil. This stencil is one from the Woodblock Prints collection. It came out a little while back. I really love this pattern. So now I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to use a little bit of washi to adhere it into place on my work surface. It'll just keep it from shifting while I am doing my ink blending. It'll make things nice and tight, so there's no movement at all. And you want to make sure you kind of line that pattern up on the sides of the card front, so that when you put your window over the top, the pattern is pretty much centered over the or behind the window. So to get started, I've got some Lilac Grace ink here, as well as some Autumn Rose. I might throw in a little bit of Amethyst Allure for good measure. We'll see how it goes. Betsy did a really pretty color combo recently with Lilac Grace and Amethyst Allure, and I just loved it. So I'm going to start there, and I can add to it as needed. Sorry, this is going to wiggle my camera just a little bit. But the nice thing about blending is it's really fast. You can see I've already got a lot of color laid down there. And if you don't like the direction that it's going, you just add in some different colors. You can just layer the color over the top. So I'm going to add a little of the Amethyst Allure up in this general area. And I can line this back up over the top and make sure that the whole thing is getting color. I want this to kind of be a bit of a gradient blend. Now I think I will add a little bit of Amethyst Allure as well. Maybe over on this side, just to bring out that purple a little bit. So now let's just peel back this side and see how it looks. That's really pretty. And see, when you put that over the top, that's really cute. I do think I want to add just a little more ink down here at the bottom, but because we only pulled up one side, I just flop it right back down and we're good to go. I'm going to come back in with that Lilac Grace down at the bottom. Just deepen that up a little bit. Okay, so now that I have my card base ready to go, I'm going to do a little stamping. I've die cut some flowers from the Grand's Garden stamp set. I die cut a bunch of them from a piece of white cardstock, and I just hang on to that negative, and that way whenever I want to stamp several of these at once, I can just pop these back into the spaces and line everything up really easy every time. So I'm going to get all of these popped in. These are just pieces I'm going to use under my focal point, or as my focal point, kind of at the bottom of my oval. And I've got my Grand's Garden stamp set here. And these are my two favorite flowers. Don't tell the others. This one is a favorite, and this one. Get all these lined up. Okay, so my stamps are all in place. I'm going to add my ink. And I'm going to go ahead and do some Simply Chartreuse on the leaves. Now, I want that ink to be considerably darker than that, so I am just going to ink it up again and stamp this a few times to get it to the desired coverage. So now I have my second layer of stamps lined up. This is going to add the detail. Whoops. There we go. So I'll add some shading and some detail to the flowers. So I'm going to use Autumn Rose on this layer. I'm only going to do that one more time on the big flowers. The little one came out dark enough. Actually, maybe one more on this top one. Okay. So now I just want to add the little flower centers. And I'm going to do that with some Amethyst Allure ink. So for these two flowers, there are two flower centers, and as you can see, one flower is taller and one is shorter and wider. Same goes for the flower centers. The one that is longer and wider goes on the longer, wider flower, and the one that's a little bit chubbier this way goes on the chubbier flower. Pick those up, add some Amethyst Allure ink to get a nice pop of purple in the center. I'll darken that up just a little bit. You don't have to stamp multiple times if you like it lighter, but I wanted it to be a little bit darker. So the last thing I need to do for some stamping before I put all the pieces together is to stamp my sentiment. So I'm going to grab the new Initial Sentiments stamp set, and I'm going to use this little happy birthday. And I'm going to stamp it right on the Lilac Grace layer that's going to be my the frame layer. Pull all my pieces off, get this little guy in place, and I'm going to add my sentiment down here at the bottom. Just want to get it right in the center. Whoops. Would help if I turned it the right way. Okay, so all my stamping is done, and I'm ready to just pop everything together. And I've got foam adhesive on the back of my die cut frame panel. So we'll just pop the panel right on the card front. And then I'm just going to add my flowers. And there you have it, a die cut frame with a pattern behind it.
I hope you've enjoyed this week's Make It Monday tutorial. I hope you'll play along. I can't wait to see what you'll come up with. If you decide to play along with the challenge, be sure to head over to Nicole Hetty's blog where you can leave a link to your project so we can all see your beautiful cards. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Dawn McVey with Make It Monday.